For more than 35 years, Mike Stevens has traveled the Pennsylvania road telling interesting stories about our people.
So many stories over his career, but one of the biggest was early in his career. Newswatch 16's Ali Gallo talked to him about covering Agnes.
In June of 1972, Mike Stevens was in his 20s, working in the radio industry. He remembers the day the radio station evacuated from its Wilkes-Barre location and set up shop in Scranton.
We started doing public service things like evacuation here, and you can get food over here, and they have a helicopter landing pad over there. So we were able to do that as a public service for the community. And that was the beginning of the Agnes flood story.
Just the beginning of what Mike would later realize was one of the biggest stories of his career.
After your day's work is done, you don't comprehend the whole picture. You know very well the small part of it, where you were, but the rest of it, no, you don't really know. So to conceive that this flood was going to be as big as it was is almost impossible.
For months and months after the flood, Mike traveled the area for work, meeting people and telling their stories. He says he will never forget all of the tears shed in his interviews.
All the things that they loved, all the pictures, all the mementos of life, gone.
As the months went on, Mike says he remembers when the weather started turning colder and the new problems that created for people who still had no place to live.
Agnes put fear into people, real fear, and it put real sorrow into people and heartache.
And Mike was able to give those people an outlet through his storytelling. Hear more from Mike Stevens tonight during our special, Agnes 50 Years Later, at 7:30 on WNEP2. Ali Gallo, Newswatch 16.
And you know, Mike Stevens was also from Sawyersville, so his family and people he knew lived through this too because it flooded. So a lot
he was
more
really
to come,
affected.
And hearing his words are just amazing.
I know, the way he tells the story,
Yes.
amazing.